BRICS is the driving force behind this transformation. Due to the well-known double standards of the West, this assistance is increasingly being conditioned by political considerations. The International Monetary Fund approved an unprecedented loan to Ukraine of $15.5 billion, which amounts to 577% of Ukraine's country quota. Multipolarity is not a choice, but an objective reality. It is replacing the outdated neoliberal model, which was essentially built on neocolonial practices. The first signs of failure in this model were the economic crisis of recent decades. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed numerous shortcomings of the global trade and financial system and accelerated its fragmentation. The erosion of globalization structures has been exacerbated by illegal unilateral sanctions and the use of the dollar as a weapon for punishment. Trust in the American currency as a once reliable means of payment has been undermined. Another negative factor is the rapid increase in the debt burden. Today, developing countries spend more on servicing their debt than they invest in their own development. The situation is getting out of control even in developed countries. The global majority is interested in creating development mechanisms independent of the West. BRICS is the driving force behind this transformation, striving to build a more stable global economic architecture based on the principles of universality, transparency, non-discrimination, and equal access to available opportunities and tools. As already noted, the reform of the Bretton Woods institutions is of key importance. They must reflect the real balance of power in the global economy. It is unacceptable to continue using the IMF and the World Bank to maintain neocolonial practices. A similar situation is unfolding in the World Trade Organization, where for many years the work on dispute resolution has been blocked. Last year, an informal BRICS consultation mechanism on WTO issues was launched. We are counting on the prompt coordination of joint positions and the start of their practical implementation. Development financing problems are becoming increasingly acute. According to UN estimates, the shortfall amounts to $4.2 trillion per year. Lacking sufficient resources and the ability to obtain loans on acceptable terms, the countries of the Global South are forced to rely on official development assistance. However, due to the well-known double standards of the West, this assistance is increasingly being conditioned by political considerations. For example, in 2023, the International Monetary Fund approved an unprecedented loan to Ukraine of $15.5 billion, which amounts to 577% of Ukraine's country quota. This is more than a third of the fund's total annual program volume. And through the World Bank, since the beginning of 2022, it has been announced that nearly $54 billion will be allocated to Ukraine. Taken together, these amounts allocated to Ukraine are twice the annual funding provided by the Bretton Woods institutions to all African countries combined. To mobilize resources for development purposes, Russia has put forward an initiative to create a new investment platform within BRICS, involving the new development bank. The implementation of this initiative is intended to be supported by our joint efforts to transform the NDB into an innovative development institution that focuses on the needs of its shareholders and is not subject to external market influences. We highly appreciate the efforts of NDB President Dilma Rousseff in this direction. Artificial intelligence is becoming a critically important technology. In response to attempts to impose non-consensual approaches in this field through various closed formats, BRICS has issued a statement on global governance in the field of artificial intelligence, emphasizing the central role of the UN. The challenges associated with the development of digital technologies are transboundary in nature and require collective responses. A good example is the agreement reached at the end of last year at the UN on the Convention on Combating Cybercrime, which will be open for signature this October in Hanoi. I am convinced that the BRICS countries, together with like-minded partners, will continue to lead in promoting the principles of a just, multipolar world order.